Hello, friends. Well, someone informed me on my last video that apparently some really shitty right-wing folks already used the name Rebel News for their deal. So, it's the weekend. Time for a RebelKitty report. This is RebelKitty report for the weekend, March 10th, 2024.
Why are you gay?
So yeah, sorry about that. Moving on, our first kind of big story we want to talk about today, or event happening, is tomorrow officially begins Ramadan, the month of Ramadan. It's probably the holiest month in the Islamic calendar, and essentially for the whole course of the month, Muslim people take the daylight hours to fast, as well as, generally abstain from all kinds of things like tobacco and looting. And there's that going on. There's actually been a number of talks of ceasefires around the world. This is usually a fairly common thing around this holiday, as, again, it's very deeply culturally significant. And most notably in Sudan, might be one of the few times they actually have a ceasefire. So that's positive. I don't think it will happen for the Palestinians in this month, but at least it's something to be mindful of in terms of the current event context. One thing I try to do with this segment, as often as I can, is kind of update on the current situation and state of affairs in Syria. And there's a number of things that have been going on. First off, Iran has suspended all flights to Syria. In a previous report, I've talked about how Iranian foreign minister visited Assad in Damascus. And so it's pretty, obviously Iran was visiting up till fairly recently, but due to a number of Israeli strikes in Damascus and elsewhere, Iranians have decided that it is not particularly safe or in their best interest right now, and have suspended flights. And kind of another interesting little story that popped up was a child was allegedly arrested for making creative edits to a photograph of Assad in a textbook at school. It is unclear currently on the state of the student, but this was reported by the Hawar news agency. Kind of not a whole lot of details, but I did find that interesting. You just get straight up arrested for doodling in a textbook, like that. Not something you see every day. And in a bit more harrowing news, was released that upwards of 194 civilians, or people, have died, I should say, in Syria from ISIS attacks over the course of 2024 so far. Most of these have been actually Assad regime military personnel, so not necessarily civilians, but at least I think 30 to 40 of them are, and that's still quite a large number of people to be killed by a rogue terrorist organization running through your country. So that's all quite unfortunate. Clearly ISIS has not been destroyed, as is often claimed around the U.S. election time. And that's clearly not what's happened. We will keep track of what's going on in Syria, but that's basically the gist. And another thing we pretty commonly discuss is happenings in Africa, which there's been quite a few going on. I mentioned already the potential ceasefire in Sudan. We had delayed presidential polls that happened in Senegal, which is pretty rare. But a little more concerningly, a story came up this past week of hundreds of students being abducted in Nigeria. And I guess, following this story, it's been going on for a number of years, with children being abducted and basically extorted for ransom. But yeah, I guess this goes back all the way to 2014 in the town of Chibok. And basically since then, there's been about 1,400 kids abducted in Nigeria. And again, typically held for pretty large ransoms. And it's not enough people and police to really deal with it presently. Although the military has been sent to respond, the Nigerian military, that is. And I guess we will await to see more developments that happen here. And the last story I wanted to touch on today is one that's pretty close to home, but also just a really wild story in general. But the situation happening in Haiti right now, it's Haiti's been fraught with some chaos over the decade, and particularly the current reigning president, who happened to come into power following a pretty suspicious assassination. This president has been having a serious issue trying to get support and legitimacy, and was in Africa making several diplomatic trips trying to get more aid for Haiti when he announced that there were going to be elections in 2025, which would seemingly be a positive development. But then the G9 Haitian alliance, or gang alliance, however they're called, decided to basically protest this move. It sounds like the man's trying to set up an election, and then the gang is protesting the president and saying that he needs to step down. Certainly a bit chaotic, but the gangs are led by a pretty interesting figure known as Barbecue, Jimmy Charisier. It's probably that because it's French. But is demanding that President Ariel Henry resign, or Prime Minister. And he's basically led an army of gangs against the government to this end. They've seized the airports. They've attacked numerous civilians. There's reports of cannibalism. It's Barbecue has really gone unhinged. And we've heard a lot about this man over the years. And the United States has deployed troops to actually evacuate some non-essential personnel from the embassy. And presently, it's kind of in limbo. President Henry is in Puerto Rico right now because he tried to flee to another country, and they wouldn't allow him in. And he's basically having a hard time. And no one seems to be in control over there, or besides Barbecue, in some strange Mad Max situation. I'm really sorry. I apologize for making a little light of it. It's really terrible for the folks of Haiti that have just kind of been enduring a nonstop shit show since even the earthquake. And you go far back in Haiti's history and you can find there's been a lot of injustices. And nonetheless, it's something's something's got to give here. They're attempting to have elections, it sounds like, but and if the gangs are causing too much chaos, they can't even go through with them. So it seems like this almost kind of counterproductive. It's a very interesting situation in Haiti, and I'll be sure to monitor that too. But yeah, barbecue's been kind of an interesting recurring figure in history, and I guess I'll have to, until he's reined in or figured out, we'll just have to live with that. It's pretty strange, but alrighty. Thanks for hanging out. Love you, fam. Bye.